What's up guys? Welcome back to The Rish Life. My name is Rochelle. I have a super exciting topic to share with you guys today, and I am spilling the tea. Today's topic is really applicable to not only young people that have just gotten out of university, or maybe you're nearing the end and you're maybe starting a co-op or starting your career fresh with like zero experience, or if you're maybe later on in your life and you're starting a new career path. And now you have this sense of, what the hell am I doing? To give a little bit of backstory, I started my corporate career while I was still in university. So I started in my last year-ish. I started my job as a co-op, and I didn't actually go through the university co-op program. I just looked through the jobs that were on the university co-op site, and then I just applied anyway.
That's suspicious.
Luckily for me, I ended up getting the job. Funnily enough, I started in an IT job. So even more backstory. If you haven't watched my first video, go watch that now. But I talk a little bit more about how when I first started my university career, it wasn't just I started school, picked my major, 4 years, and done. And I ended up at SFU getting my Bachelor of Business Administration. And even then, I majored in Human Resources and I almost minored in MIS, which is Management Information Systems. My major was HR, and I got a job in IT, which didn't entirely make sense, but that was where I ended up. From that awesome experience, I ended up getting another co-op at the same company, but within the HR division. And then that led to me ultimately getting a permanent role. And I remember early on in my career, there was a lot of times where I kind of questioned my value. For instance, kind of doubting myself and questioning, do I really belong here? And are my thoughts and ideas actually substantial enough to move the needle, or even to make any type of impact to be equivalent to the people that I'm surrounded by? I was the youngest person in my division by a decent amount, and I didn't have a ton of corporate experience. I had only worked at that one company. I lacked confidence, and I didn't know if I was really good enough to be working at this level. So today, based on my experiences and how I have combated that lack of confidence, I wanted to share with you all what I learned. If you guys like the video, be sure to like and subscribe down below, as it really helps my channel. And without further ado, let's get into it. Alright guys, so my first piece of advice is to be a sponge. Constantly looking for ways to keep learning, absorbing, and just being eager to talk to people is definitely a way to not only learn what sort of things interest you, as well as to get yourself out there and build relationships with people that you might not even expect to be beneficial relationships, but they grow into something and ends up helping you get another opportunity down the line. So some of the ways that this is really easy to do is to set up coffee chats with people. In my experience, using your newness as kind of an excuse to want to talk to people. I never ever had a situation where I asked someone for a coffee chat and they shut me down. And I also want to add that this can be really scary, especially if you're introverted. I'm not the most outgoing person. I'm rather shy until I start to get to know you. So it was super awkward, and thank God for email invites, so I don't have to actually walk up to someone and be like, will you go for coffee with me? And when you're having these coffee chats, definitely try and talk to all different types of people, not just people that are maybe similar to you in age or culturally similar. For the most part, people are friendly and they want to help people who want to learn, unless you get really unlucky and decide to choose someone that is hella grumpy. Don't do that. All right, my second piece of advice is to not be afraid to get yourself out there. What I mean by that is taking opportunities when they present themselves. So whether that is joining maybe a committee at your workplace, or kind of different projects that are maybe outside of the typical norm and box of your role, it gives you more experience to kind of see what exactly it is that you like and don't like. And that was something that I really struggled with early in my career, and even now still to some extent. being really clear and honest with myself on what I liked and what I was passionate about. As I've kind of gone through different roles and tried different things in my workplace, I'm learning more and more about what types of things interest me, or what even type of work environments that I'm really not set out for and that make me really unhappy. So don't be afraid to try new things and put yourself out there. Get as much experience as you can, because you only grow by getting outside of your comfort zone. And now my third piece of advice is to always take feedback with open arms. And I think that is applicable to all different types of feedback. So there's going to be constructive feedback where someone is telling you something that they think you could improve. And then there's also just positive feedback where someone is telling you, hey, you did a super good job. My piece of advice is, if someone tells you that you're good at something or you killed something, believe them. On the flip side to that, take constructive feedback, of course, because that's how you grow and that's how you get flagged for things that you maybe need to work on, but also take it with a grain of salt, because I think that in some circumstances, people are just used to the way that they do things. And if someone else comes along and tries doing something a different way, they might give you feedback that, hey, you're not doing that the right way, but really you're just doing it a different way. And if you're both getting the job done, it doesn't matter if your way is different, because maybe your way is more efficient. On the topic of constructive feedback, it's super important not to take it personally. It's easy to get defensive and not absorb what someone is trying to tell you, but in most instances, they're just trying to help you get better. Don't take it as a shot at your ego. And then last thing on constructive feedback is to take action wherever it's applicable. And if you get feedback and just push it to the side, then you're not going to grow and you're not going to evolve. Feedback is a good thing, both positive and constructive. All right, second last piece of advice is to not undervalue yourself. And so I think that no matter what stage you're at in your career, it's important to keep track of your accomplishments, not only for yourself, you can look back at it and reflect, but also if you're in the scenario of applying for a job, it's easy to just flip back and kind of remind yourself, holy crap, I did all of these amazing things and I kick ass. So that basically summarizes my piece of advice number 4. Don't undervalue yourself and keep track of your accomplishments so that when the time comes, you're easily able to take a look at this list, hype yourself up, and then go make the world your bitch. Last but not least, I have my tip number 5, and that is to bask in the discomfort. And I know that's probably not what you want to hear. It's not what anyone wants to hear, because being uncomfortable, it sucks. But that's the space where you grow. Confidence in your skills and just in your general ability is something that comes with experience. And unfortunately, experience takes time. Just remember that this feeling of insecurity and lack of confidence in your experience and ability, it's only temporary, and as long as you stay consistent and just show up every single day, it's gonna go away. Grind it out, you got this. Comment below if you've experienced similar feelings, and let me know what kind of tips or tricks you have that helped you get through that period, and hopefully we can share this information amongst one another to be the best versions of ourselves. Thanks so much for watching. All the best.